On the frontier, the Chuck Wagon was a place for food and conversation on the trail. Cookie just finished breakfast here at the Agile Chuck Wagon podcast. Grab a cup of coffee and stay for a short talk on an Agile and Lean software delivery topic. Here's your host, Chuck Durfee. This podcast is part of a series of podcasts on Scrum values. Before we dive into the Scrum value of openness, let me demonstrate that to you right now. This is my first podcast that I've done. I don't have a lot of experience with audio editing or video editing or a number of the other skills that I'm finding that I need in order to create a successful podcast. I'm doing most of these conversations extemporaneously. I don't prepare a script. And therefore, I sometimes pause or stutter or use bad speaking techniques when I'm recording these particular podcasts. This podcast, to me, represents a minimum viable product. So let's segue into openness in the context of Scrum values. Today's topic is openness. Openness and courage kind of go hand in hand in some ways, but it's possible to be courageous without being open. Open can be a tough one for people. In order to be effective on a team, the team needs to know not only your strengths, but also your weaknesses. And you need to be forthcoming when you're having difficulty with something that the team is asking you to do. That could certainly mean if you're having difficulty meeting one of your commitments. I see this on new Scrum teams where there's a developer, for example, who is having difficulty understanding some aspect of the problem, and they're having to burn some time doing some research, and maybe they feel guilty about that. Maybe they feel like they have the senior developer title, so they should be able to do this stuff right away. And that embarrassment causes them to fudge their reports back to the team during the daily stand-up. And, they may say, I'm almost there for 3 days in a row. If that team member doesn't come forward and say, look, I'm having trouble writing this particular algorithm, that prevents the rest of the team from helping him solve that problem. It could be that the QA guy is good friends with somebody who specializes in that algorithm and could hook them up for lunch if only he knew that that was the difficulty that the guy was having trouble with. Openness, of course, can manifest itself not only in the aspects of the work, but in personal conflicts within the team as well. If you're having difficulty with a particular individual, it's your responsibility as a team member to figure out a way to resolve that conflict with that individual. Usually that means that you actually have to talk to them and tell them about whatever thing is bothering you. Maybe you're somewhat intimidated by that and you want to pull in somebody like your Scrum Master or another neutral facilitator who can help you have that particular conversation. But the Scrum value of openness says that you need to express that. The team also needs to be open with other people who have expectations of them. Perhaps the QA manager likes to have a long meeting every Thursday afternoon with the entire QA group. It's important that the QA people on that team say to that manager, the meetings that you're having are not providing us the kind of value that justifies us being away from our team that long. Can we work out a different way to get that particular information? Those are tough conversations that end up being generated by being open. But what I think you will find, and I've seen on more experienced Scrum teams, the ones that are open with each other tend to work more harmoniously together, and their productivity tends to be a lot higher than those who do not practice openness and try to keep team problems from themselves. If you're looking to start being more open, retrospectives are the best Scrum ceremony in order to bring forward some openness. And when a lot of people hear about openness in Scrum, they think of retrospectives right away. There'll certainly be more podcasts talking about retrospectives and how to facilitate them and what you want to get out of them. But as far as the core values go, it's a time to be open. Thanks for listening. We're packing up the Chuck Wagon for another day in the field. Thanks for listening. Agile Chuck Wagon is a production of DurfWeb. Chuck Durfee is an Agile coach and software developer from Denver, Colorado, USA. Direct questions or comments to Chuck at his email, chuck@agilechuckwagon.com. The background music is called Waiting for the Rain, uploaded by user Sky Coyote to the community audio section of the Internet Archive under a Creative Commons Attribution and Share Alike license. Hope to see you again soon. Happy trails.